right, guys, today we're going to be showing you some easy rolls, some intermediate rolls, and maybe later some even advanced rolls. Our very first roll that I'm going to show you guys is our log roll. For this one, we just get down low, stretch those arms out. You're going to use your body to pull yourself over, roll and roll. Keep your legs together and your arms up by your ears. All right, a harder version of that log roll. We're going to get 2 panel mats here. You're going to lay your body down in between them. Now you're going to have to use your core muscle because we don't want to let our belly sag or anything. We got to keep ourselves up strong, and you're going to try and roll in between the panel mats all the way to the end and hold yourself up tall. Our next easy roll that we're going to try is a forwards roll down the hill. To make this the most simple, you're going to stand up on top of your hill, pretend like you're touching your toes, and now the most important part is you want to tuck your head in. I like to tell my little ones you want to kiss your belly. Okay, give it a big kiss, tuck that head in, bend and roll, stand up tall. A harder version of that forward roll we could try now is on the flat floor. Without that hill, it's a little tougher, so you really got to make sure you're tucking that chin to your chest. We touch our toes, tuck that head in, we roll, and we stand up. We can also try and do 2 in a row before we stand up. So I'll tuck, roll, tuck and roll, and stand up tall. Okay, next easy roll we're going to do is a candlestick roll using our panel mat here. We're going to put it behind us, hands up tall. We sit onto the panel mat, roll back, push our hips up, and we try and stand back up tall. You can also put your hands down on the mat to help push your hips up and stand all the way up. Making that candlestick roll a little more challenging, we're going to try it on the flat floor now. You could even try a little straight jump out of it. So I'll stretch myself up, candlestick, stretch and jump. Our next easy roll we're going to be trying today is a backwards roll going down the hill. Now, when we first learn backwards rolls, there's 2 ways that I like to teach our hand placement. The obvious hand placement is, I call them pizza hands. You tell your kids you got 2 pizza pies on your hands, and when you sit and go back, you squish them on the ground. For my even littler guys, I like to tuck their hands behind their head like they're relaxing, just to kind of support that neck. Okay, I'm going to show it my pizza pie method. So I sit, I squish, and I stand up tall at the end. Making that backwards roll a little bit harder now, we could try it on the flat floor. Really make sure when you use those hands, you're pushing yourself really hard off that ground. So I sit, roll back, push, and I stand up. A little bit harder challenge that we can add to that is going to a push-up shape. So I sit, roll, push my toes back to my straight legs, and I end up in my round push-up shape. Okay, our next simple roll we're going to try is called a straddle roll. For this one, you're going to start your feet in a big open straddle like a starfish. And when I roll, I'm going to end up sitting in my straddle position. So I reach down, keep my legs straight, roll, and I sit tall. Okay. Our harder version of our straddle roll is I'm going to try and press up to my feet. So I've got to really push down through my shoulders out of that roll to try and stand myself up. So I'm in my straddle shape, I roll, and I press up to my feet standing. One more easy roll is going to be our pike roll. So for this one, I'm going to have my feet super glued together, really tight and straight. I'm going to reach down like I'm touching my toes, roll, and I'll sit into my pike shape. You could even reach forwards if you want a nice stretch. A little bit harder version of that now, we're going to try and press up to our feet just like that straddle roll we just tried. So I roll, and I try and press. That one's really tough, so you got to really, really push. I like to put my hands right next to my knees.
We're going to go into some advanced rolls or just some unique and different rolls. So right now I'm going to do a tuck and stand up on one foot, and I'm going to alternate feet. So I'm going to remind myself to switch feet on every roll. One more tuck roll I like to do is uphill. You're going to need a cheese mat that's not too squishy. And you're going to see if you can create enough power from your changing the shape at the right moment to roll. If I tuck immediately, I will not make it. But if I tuck as late as possible, I can create enough momentum to stand up. Woo! It's harder than it looks. All right, so we're going to do a pike roll. Going downhill is going to make it a little bit easier to stand up with straight knees. And again, if I reach past my knees, I'll be able to push on the floor and stand up with straight legs. Right. The most advanced version of that roll is going to be a handstand pike roll. To make it a little bit like vault, I'm going to go arm circle, handstand pop, pike roll up. This is a great vault drill. arm circle, pop, pike. All right, so there's a couple different strata rolls that I like to do. It can be done like this, no problem, but to make my elbows and wrists feel a little bit safer and a little bit less tension on them, I'm gonna turn my wrists like this and keep them like this for the strata roll. The really advanced gymnasts can leave their feet in the air. I'm almost there. So you try to go through without touching your feet. Otherwise, use your feet as little as possible. That can also go press to handstand. All right, now we're on to backward roll. So as we are working our back extension roll, we want to do different things with our hands to make sure we can get to a handstand with straight arms. So I'm going to put them together like this while I'm learning and go down the cheese mat into a rainbow shape. All right, so now we're on to backward rolls, advanced backward rolls turning into back extension rolls. I'm gonna turn my hands inwards like this while I'm learning to teach myself to keep my hands together with straight arms. I'm gonna step on a block or a panel mat, lock my arms, get into. All right, so now we're doing our same back extension roll and we want our feet to get a little bit closer to handstand. So the challenge is to go above whatever we put in the way. Lock my arms, hands turned in, sit back, and push. So continue with back extension rolls. Now I'm ready to start doing them a little closer to the floor. Using this mat, I'm gonna measure so that my elbows end up right on the edge, like that. For me, that means I'm gonna stand right here. Sit back, push. Then I'm ready for the next step. I'm gonna unfold it in half and repeat the same process. Measure what fits for your height, sit back, push. All right, so continuing with our back extension rolls, getting more advanced, having fun, we can add some props to make it a little more difficult or challenging. This is a spiky ball, and obviously I don't wanna sit on it. We can also pretend that there's a little puppy there that we don't want to sit on and say, this is a tiny little puppy. And as I begin, I can't sit down on my heels. I have to bring my hips back as much as possible. Then I've gotten some scarves that I'm going to use to get all my body parts connected, my feet, my shoulders and ears. And I'm going to show that right now. So remember, I'm going to sit backwards as much as possible to create the momentum to shoot up to handstand. And I'm going to have my body tight holding all these scarves. Here we go. All right, so we got as many cheese mats as I could find to make a really high angle. Even better if you have a teacher spotting you. I'm gonna just hope for the best, and if I get stuck, Coach Skylar's gonna come save me. So I'm gonna keep locking my hands together until I'm ready. Eventually, this is the goal, but I'm gonna practice like this. Ready? Really good at my back extension roll, and now I'm going to use this wall to do my best to stay hollow at the ending of the extension roll. Hands are going to be like this now. The starting shape is very important, and there's still a little puppy that I don't want to sit on there. I'm going to fall backwards. One more try. All right, our last back extension rolls are the most advanced. I'm hoping I can make this. I'm trying to go up the hill. Okay, I'm gonna create a lot of power to be able to go up this hill. That was my try. Back extension roll on the tumble track to handstand or flying backwards. First handstand, and then I'm gonna fly backwards.